is for House File 2563, 2 housekeeping items. Representative Matson and I have just agreed on 1.5 minutes per speaker. There is a copy of an amendment that will be available in committee. Representative Matson has had that amendment prior to this meeting, so has Representative Meyer, so we've had time to review. This is the same amendment that was going to be ready when it was floor eligible previously. So if you're going, I have not seen this before, you probably have if you've read the amendments on this bill that had already been filed. So I just wanted to let you know that that is my amendment that I had filed for floor. We're going to go ahead and get started, and we're going to go pro and con, or con pro, sorry. Either way, you get it alternating until we run out. So who would like to start? Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. What I meant to say about that amendment is that it does remove the reversal language. So if anyone is here specifically to talk about that, I'd ask if maybe you would be so kind as to let someone else take that comment sometime, because it won't be in the bill. Sure. Thank you.
First off, thank you so much for giving us the space to talk. My name is Elizabeth Davis. I live in Des Moines. 30 years ago, I was clinically depressed, homeless, and I was host to various mental issues, including alcoholism. And I twice became pregnant while I was trying to fill that very normal human need for love and closeness. I would have been totally alone raising a child. And I grew up with the religious indoctrination that abortion was maybe the very worst sin a person could commit. But I knew that it would be much worse, actually, to bring an innocent child into a degraded life that I had no idea how to change. I had no way yet of breaking generational chains of abuse and mental illness. And I didn't know how to take care of my own life, let alone a vulnerable baby's. I realized, though, that I was the kind of person who would blame a baby for my own circumstance. I could not live with myself knowing that how the depth of my anger would affect an innocent child. An adoption only meant that the eventual child would be saddled with genetic neurological difficulties, and the trauma of birth, giving birth alone, was definitely more than I could handle. I am forever grateful that I had access to safe, legal abortion. Eventually, it became next. Okay.
Who would like to speak next? For.
Hi, my name is Patty Alexander. This bill protects women. This is a big decision for a woman, and she deserves to have all the information prior to consenting to an abortion. A woman has the right to be medically informed of what is going to happen to her body, the risks involved, the side effects, and possible complications. This bill prohibits a person from dispensing an abortion-inducing drug in this state unless the drug is dispensed in a healthcare setting directly to the woman prescribed the drug, and the person dispensing the drug is authorized to do so. This bill also protects the woman's identity while helping track health complications and vital statistical data. Research shows that when women are fully informed about abortion, 65% of the women would not have consented to the abortion. Please protect women, and please move this bill forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm the Reverend Kelly Clement. I serve the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Ames, and you're going to hear a lot about why this bill is good for or bad for women. I think this bill is bad for women, it's bad for families, it's bad for doctors, it's bad for Iowa. By now, you know that 80% of Iowans support abortion care, reproductive health care. And we're appalled that 30% of Iowa counties have no maternal health care. Iowans know that this bill was not written for Iowans by Iowans. It's part of a national misinformation campaign about medication abortion. What I want to say is that hundreds of thousands of Iowans of faith, all faiths, and of no faith are begging you to stop these efforts that do nothing to help the lives and the struggles, the very real struggles that we're facing. Iowans of every faith and no faith need real help in health care, especially maternal health care. not more barriers. Iowans of every faith and no faith want to be able to trust their providers, not wonder if they are giving us state-mandated lies. We believe that, we beg of you not to believe the statement that you'll hear, that abortion ruins women's lives. I'm here to say that I am glad and grateful for the abortions that I have had. Iowans need you to make wise decisions on our behalf. Please vote no.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Maggie Dwiney. I'm the Executive Director of Pulse Life Advocates and the spokesman for the Coalition of Pro-Life Leaders. We are in support of this bill and thank you for bringing it forward. We would like to have some common sense safeguards to ensure the safety of women who are ingesting this drug. When this was first introduced in 2000, it required 3 in-person visits. It could only be dispensed by a physician and required follow-up reporting of adverse events. Now, this drug has virtually no restrictions and can be shipped through the mail directly to a woman's home with no oversight, no physical examination from a doctor. This bill would restore some of those initial safeguards, such as an in-person physical examination. Second, a recent study by the Ethics and Public Policy Center revealed that 1 in 10 women who take this drug will experience a severe adverse event. Severe meaning infection, hemorrhaging, and sepsis. And this is 22 times higher than what the FDA had originally reported. The claims by the abortion industry that this is safe as Tylenol are absurd. They have physical ramifications, psychological, and emotional ramifications that are dangerous. The abortion industry is not preparing these women for the reality that they will witness a dead baby, oftentimes in the toilet. These women are alone and traumatized at what they must go through. This bill will require physicians to provide this information. I encourage you to support it.
Thank you. Next.
Good afternoon, my name is Heather Ryan. I'm with the organization Bitches Get Stuff Done, and I just want to know, why are we here? And that's not a rhetorical question. You should be focusing right now on the budget, but instead, through some trickery, you brought this legislation back after it had already died. So the fact that the Republicans in the House and Senate had to come and do some tomfoolery in order to try to control women again during this legislative session speaks volumes about how popular this legislation is. You try to sneak it through at the very last second of the session and then say, hey, we got this passed, knowing that Iowans don't support this. And the idea that this is a problem that we're having women hemorrhage out after they take this pill is ridiculous. It goes against everything that science tells us. It's absolutely disgraceful. I really don't know why we're here, and I'm ashamed that this is what we're focusing on. Thank you.
Next.
Hello, my name is Amy Craven. I am a resident of Urbandale. I'm also a candidate for the Iowa House, but today I am speaking as an individual in opposition to this bill. Mifepristone saved my sister's life when she had a...
I'm sorry. We
Okay.
were doing pro con. Did you come in late? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
That's okay. Continue and then we'll do 2 pro. Apologies.
Okay, sorry about that. So this drug saved my sister's life when she had a non-viable pregnancy that would have killed her if it had continued. We see women bleeding out in parking lots because across the country their access to abortion is being restricted to the point that they are dying. I am also speaking as someone whose parents are staunchly pro-life, and my mother has taught fertility care for the last 35 years. I am well versed on both sides of this issue, and this is a bad bill. I hope that you vote no. Thank you.
My name is Ryan Bent. I'm a family leader. We support this bill because it protects pregnant women and their babies. Iowa has a problem. Since the Dobbs decision and the passage of Iowa's heartbeat law, the abortion industry has developed a network of abortion drug dealers that operate outside of the medical system. They will provide abortion drugs to anyone for little or no fee. Boyfriends who don't want to be a dad, human traffickers who stand to lose money, literally anyone can get these pills. And contrary to the claims of Planned Parenthood, it's not as safe as Tylenol. A recent study showed that 1 in 10 women who take abortion drugs suffer a serious adverse event and many end up in the ER. But black market suppliers don't care. They send pills without a doctor's involvement and tell women to lie about it if they have to go to the hospital. These people should absolutely be subject to liability for their actions, this bill provides an opportunity for women who are harmed to get justice. Thanks.
Another pro. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey everybody, thank you for allowing us to speak today on this important topic. I'm Jeff Pitts with the Iowa Faith and Freedom Coalition. We do support the bill. Iowa's heartbeat law was intended to protect almost all innocent, in-state, unborn babies with a detectable heartbeat. But it doesn't, if we're being honest. That's mostly due to the fact that chemical abortion pills are easy to order over the internet, with or without a prescription, making a mockery of Iowa law. Not only are these pills deadly to their intended targets, the babies, but experts commonly concluded that complications to aborting mothers are likely to be vastly underreported. Let's fix this problem. Passing this bill is a good start. Thank you.
Next.
Xavier Kerrigan, Milwaukee, still writing candidate for U.S. House. Sat on the side of the table on purpose, that way I could address the people that need to be addressed in the room. As a man, I'm not the one most directly impacted by this bill, but men in power are making these decisions anyway. So if that is who they're willing to listen to, let me say this plainly. This bill is about control. So let me put it into terms every man can understand. Imagine your ability to have children, your future, your legacy was not fully yours to decide. Imagine the government stepping in and telling you how the decision has to happen, requiring you to sit through a scripted lecture with dangerous inaccuracies, forcing delays, limiting your options, all based on rules written by people who will never live your life. Imagine another man inserting himself into that decision. You would not accept that. You would not tolerate someone else controlling something that personal. So now understand this. That is exactly what this bill does to women. And I want every man supporting this to picture something else. Picture your daughter, your sister, your wife, your mother. Picture another man standing between her and her doctor deciding what she is allowed to do. Ask yourself one question. Who gave him that right? Because that is the power this bill hands over. We already saw what happened with Roe v. Wade was overturned. Rights people thought were settled were taken away. And now we are watching the same pattern continue. This is not protection. This is control. And if you would not accept that for yourself, you should not accept it for the women in your life. Iowans deserve better. And that's why I oppose this bill.
Thank you. Next. Go ahead. I'm sorry, did you two get a chance to speak? I know you guys are more on the medical side.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, what did you say?
No, I'm wrong. Sorry.
What did you say? I just wanted to make
I
that.
thought it was my program, but it's not. Sorry.
Oh, apologies, I just, realized that they've been sitting there since the beginning,
sorry,
so,
my mistake.
and if you're a neutral, pop in, or working on the legislation.
Oh, okay, thank you. My name is Dan Schuman, I represent the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. We're registered opposed to the bill. However, I guess I'll say a few things. I do understand from what some of my colleagues have said, the intent of this bill, trying to go after black market abortion drugs. I'll leave it to others to decide, what the impact of that will be if this bill is passed. But there are some unintended consequences in here that we've discussed offhand or offline, Representative Wood and others. We appreciate, I think, the amendments H 8110, if I remember right, that being adopted as we go forward. We also, as you know, have other concerns with this piece of legislation, particularly on the reporting requirements for some of the drugs that would be swept into it. I know that might not be the intent of the propagators of the bill to have, for example, misoprostol, which is a drug that's used for stomach ulcers, to be reported its use, side effects, no matter what it's used for. Obviously, it can be used for what it was FDA prescribed or approved for. It can be used for abortifacient purposes. It's also used to induce labor and deal with women who are having trouble with postpartum bleeding. And so we just have some, as you know, some suggested changes around that in order to alleviate that concern and not have that unintended consequence that I don't think anybody here has. The other concern we have is with a drug called methotrexate, which we swept into the abortifacient drug definition, when that drug is used to treat atopic pregnancy. And so we're hoping to continue to work with you on that to fix those issues.
Thank you. Seth, did you get a chance to talk? No, obviously not. Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
Seth Brown on behalf of the Iowa Medical Society. We're currently registered against the bill. We definitely have a shared goal to address illicitly prescribed and supplied medications entering the state. Our one concern, it sounds like, our biggest concern has been addressed in the amendment, so we appreciate the conversations on that. We would also be supportive of some of the clarifying language that ACOG has brought up. Otherwise, physicians already are required to provide an in-person consultation under the 2023 law and standard practice to make a lot of these informed consent statements, so I don't see any issues there on our end. We appreciate the conversations and the back and forth, and we're happy to answer more questions if you have any. Thank you.
Sorry, Tom, you were next.
My name is Tom Chapman. I'm the director of the Iowa Catholic Conference. The ICC supports the bill, which requires that abortion drugs be provided in a medical setting. The FDA still recommends against purchasing abortion drugs online. Unfortunately, this medication is readily available, very cheaply and very easily. More than 2/3 of abortion here in Iowa are through the pills. We're dealing with a human life. Unfortunately, perhaps this bill does not make abortion pills illegal. I think there may be some confusion there. I would say almost most important section of the bill is Section 8. It provides for reporting of complications that the mother may suffer. I think there are some questions out there about how accurate the information is about adverse reaction. Let's find out what it really is. Let's have the reporting. That's what the reporting process in the bill is for. So thank you.
I'm sorry, we're already getting close to the end of our, we've already gone over 2 minutes with our time, so I am going to cut off speeches, but we did end on an even number of, I was gonna.
There were three against. There were 3 against and 1 for.
So.
1, 2, 3 against.
Okay, do you want another pro to speak, is that what you're asking for? Go ahead. Okay.
My name is Lori Stiles, Polk County, just a concerned citizen, and I'm speaking here as an ultrasound technologist in my career for 35 years. I cannot count, I applaud you for the bringing up this bill, and I agree with the intent of the bill. I appreciate people who bring up forth some unintended consequences perhaps to look at, so that's good. But just as an ultrasound technologist, I cannot tell you how many women I saw middle of the night callbacks or any other time of the day who had used an abortion pill and were absolutely blindsided at how it played out. They were told that it would just be like a heavy period, some cramping, and they hit the ER with passing clots, tissue, hemorrhaging, cramping like they couldn't believe, like they were in labor. And you know, in conversation, just talking with them, it's like, what did you take? Did they tell you this was gonna happen? No, they told me what they were told. And they also told me that they, when I asked how far along they were, they couldn't tell me. But that if they had been to any clinic, they would do an manual exam or even an ultrasound for dating, and they were not allowed to know that. They even asked. And so it's a vast difference in what you experience from a very early couple week post-conception to some of these women may have been like 12 weeks along and not known it. So I have seen that, and I applaud the informed consent part of this for sure, because those women were absolutely not informed. So thank you for bringing this forward, and I would ask you to support it.
Representative Paxton.
I will be really brief, so if you really still have time here to speak, I appreciate it.
We can do one more every time.
But as the major provider of medical care for women in this state, I think it's important.
My name is Kirsten Dollar-Gardell, and I'm the Director of Public Affairs at Planned Parenthood Advocates of Iowa. This bill is unnecessary government overreach. It interferes with best practices for medical care. Healthcare decisions, including abortion, should be guided by medicine and science, not determined by politicians. To be clear, abortion providers across our state help these patients understand the abortion process and offer support throughout the experience. Planned Parenthood North Central States follows a thorough care model for providing abortion medication that includes following up with patients after care. This process includes sharing verbal and written information about the procedure, providing patients with a phone number for an on-call nurse, and completing direct follow-up both 1 week and 4 weeks after the procedure. Providers do this in good faith, knowing that every method of abortion, including medication abortion, is exceptionally safe, far safer than pregnancy, safer than childbirth, and safer than many other routine procedures such as colonoscopy. Professional medical organizations like the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists agree that medication abortion is safe and effective. It's been used by over 7.5 million patients in the US since its approval by the FDA 25 years ago. But this bill ignores decades of science, medicine, and patient experiences. Patients are the experts on their own bodies, and providers are the experts on providing the care they need. Lawmakers should not be pushing legislation that relies on misinformation. Restrictions on abortion care will only further erode access. Iowans are already struggling to access affordable health care. We've closed another birthing unit in the state since the last time we discussed this bill. Further abortion attacks will not make care more affordable, nor will it make it more accessible.
Thank you everyone for being here. I really appreciate it, and thank you for sharing the amendment. I actually haven't seen it yet, so I'm glad to know that we are taking out language related to so-called abortion reversal. I will say I've had this fight every year that I have been here for the last 8 years. So glad to see we're stopping it now. I want to make special note of a term that is included in this bill, chemical abortion. It would be a new term in Iowa code. It is not an accepted medical definition for what medication abortion is, and so if for no other reason, I'm going to have a big problem with this bill just for that. I also think that if this bill was just about medication by mail, this bill would look very different than what is in front of us today. There is a lot of language in here that is fear-mongering language around trauma. There are already a tremendous number of safeguards in place around medication abortion. I will certainly have a conversation with anybody who wants to talk about making sure that if medication is coming into the state by mail, that it is being done so in a safe way. But that is not just what this bill is about, and given that and plenty of other reasons, I cannot support this bill today.
Representative Meyer?
Thank you everyone for coming. I will be supporting this bill today. I think it's a common sense bill to protect women's health.
Thank you. I'm going to be brief as well. I am also going to be supporting this today, and I really, really appreciate those members of our medical community and folks who have been passionate about this bill on both sides for giving their expertise and lending that, especially medical knowledge to the language of the bill. I think from day one with this piece of legislation, we've shown a commitment to working with our medical providers who want to make sure that women are getting medication from a known source, and having those conversations with a doctor related to what's going on in their healthcare. And I'm moving this forward today because I think we really do need to take a serious look at making sure that access to medication like this is not from an unlicensed, unregulated source from who knows where. I know there have been a lot of discussions about what's safe and what's not safe today, but I can tell you that pills pressed in who knows where, being shipped in from out-of-state locations and not knowing what's in them is unsafe for anybody who's encountering that situation. So I'm going to be moving this forward today. Thanks.